You spend your entire life working for it, thinking about it, trying to get more of it. But let me ask you a question. Do you really know what money is? Do you know how it actually works?
You see, what's so crazy is that most of us are playing this high-stakes financial game our entire lives without ever being told the real rules. And honestly, the system is kind of designed that way because the people who benefit the most from you not knowing the rules, well, they're the ones who wrote them in the first place.
But that changes today. Welcome to the financial exit. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you the actual rules of the game. All right, let's dive in.
Okay, so if you ask someone what money is, you'll probably get this answer, right? The classic textbook definition. And yeah, it's technically true, but this is like the kindergarten version. It's missing the single most important part.
This is the key. Modern money, it's really just a collective agreement. We all use what's called fiat currency. That's just government-issued money that isn't backed by something physical, like gold. Its value comes entirely from our shared trust and confidence in the system. It only works because we all agree it works. It's a social construct.
So think about it this way. That paycheck you get isn't really wealth. It's just a promise, a claim on wealth. And the moment people stop believing in that promise, its value can just, poof, evaporate. This is the first illusion we absolutely have to understand before we can see how the rest of the system really operates.
Which brings us to the mechanics of the whole thing. So where does all this money, this trust, actually come from? Now, most people think it's printed by the government, but that's only a tiny, tiny fraction of the story.
The reality is a system called fractional reserve banking. It works like this. When you deposit your money, the bank doesn't just lock it in a vault. Nope. They keep a small fraction and then they create new money completely out of thin air by lending out the rest. They literally just type numbers into an account and bam, new money exists.
I want you to let that sink in for a second. Your salary, the money in your savings account, a huge chunk of it only exists as a digital entry on a screen because someone else, somewhere out there, is paying interest on a loan. If people suddenly started defaulting on those loans, that money would effectively just disappear from the system.
So if most money is just created from debt, that leads to a really fundamental question, doesn't it? Why does our economy seem to demand constant perpetual growth just to stay afloat?
And this is why. It's the interest trap. You see, the money to pay the interest on a loan is never created with the loan itself. So to pay back all the debt plus the interest, there has to be more money in the system tomorrow than there is today. And how is new money created? You got it, through more loans. It's a cycle that demands ever-expanding debt. It's not a bug in the system, it's a feature.
Okay, so the system is built on an ever-growing mountain of debt. But why do we so willingly participate? I mean, why do we run headfirst into a system that's literally designed to keep us in that cycle? Well, now we're getting into the psychology of it all.
You might think you could just, opt out of the whole thing, but it's not that simple. The system has these carefully engineered psychological hooks that make sure most of us never even think about trying.
First up, there's status signaling. We're trained by culture, by ads, by social media to show we've made it by buying expensive stuff. Then, debt acts like a form of time travel for consumers. It lets you get the feeling of being rich today in exchange for paying it for the next 30 years. And the final hook, people with debt are predictable. They can't afford to quit that job they hate or go start that business. They become controllable.
And the scale of this is it's insane. This number, it's the average household debt in America. And most people see a number like that and they think it's their own fault, that they're just bad with money. But they're not bad with money. They're just playing a game where the rules were written by the house.
But this is where it gets really interesting. This is the big reveal. The people who truly understand the system, they don't avoid debt. Oh no. They use the exact same tool, but they play by a completely different set of rules.
Just look at this. This is probably the most important thing you'll see in this whole explainer. The average person borrows money to consume, to buy a car or go on vacation. Their debt goes up, but their assets don't. The wealthy, on the other hand, borrow to invest. Sure, their debt goes up, but their assets go up even faster. They use debt to buy things that make them more money.
So here's the bottom line. Debt is just a tool, but how you're taught to use that tool determines whether it builds you a prison or a palace. For most of us, it's a trap. For those who know the rules, it's a rocket ship.
Now, hearing all of this isn't meant to make you feel hopeless or angry. It's meant to do the exact opposite. It's meant to give you a choice.
Because once you truly understand the game, you can stop blaming yourself for struggling to win it. It's not a personal failing, it's a systemic design. And that shift in perspective, it changes everything.
Look, you can't opt out of the system entirely, but you can change how you participate in it. You can choose to stop playing the status game. You can choose to live within your means. You probably won't become a billionaire overnight, but you can build a life where money is your tool, not your master. And that right there is true freedom.
If this explainer opened your eyes even a little bit, please help spread this knowledge. Hit the like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, and share it with someone you know who needs to see this.
Always remember this: knowledge is the first and most powerful step toward changing your own financial game.
And for more explainers just like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep learning the rules of the financial game right here at the Financial Exit.
So I'll leave you with this. It's the most important question of all. Now that you know the rules, what are you going to do with that knowledge?